Reports are spreading across social media, claim after claim, saying the ancient Golden Gate in Jerusalem, Holiest, sealed for centuries, is beginning to crack. And many ask one question: is the Gate of Mercy opening by itself? Today, our studio examined historical records, on-ground reports, and prophetic references to find out whether this is truly a sign, Plies, or simply a misunderstanding. And what we discovered may surprise you.
The Golden Gate of Jerusalem, sealed for centuries. Yet now, whispers ripple across the world. Is it opening by itself? Some claim the ancient stones are shifting, that the gate, long sealed by empires, is slowly unsealing on its own. But could that really be true? Or is something or someone behind it? Before we uncover the truth, make sure you're part of this journey. Subscribe and stay with us, because what you're about to hear may change how you see history itself. To understand everything, we must travel back, not just decades, but thousands of years, through prophets, kings, empires, and wars. Because to understand this mystery, we must first understand why this gate was built, who sealed it, and what it means, if it ever opens again. Standing on the eastern wall of Jerusalem's old city, facing the Mount of Olives, lies the most mysterious gate in the world, the Golden Gate, also known as the Eastern Gate, or in Hebrew, Sha'ar Harakamim, the Gate of Mercy. It is the oldest of all Jerusalem's city gates, and unlike the others, it is sealed shut. Its stones hold the weight of centuries, prophecy, faith, and conflict buried within. But before it was sealed, before it was even built, Jerusalem was a city chosen by prophets. It was here that Prophet Dawood, known as David, established his kingdom, chosen by God for worship and justice. His son, Prophet Suleiman, known as Solomon, built the first temple, Beit al-Maqdis, the Temple of Solomon, standing as the spiritual heart of the Israelites, a place where they believed the divine presence truly rested. Among all entrances to the temple, the Eastern Gate was special. It faced the rising sun, and every morning, the first light of dawn poured through it, flooding the temple courtyard with gold. It was more than light. It was a symbol of divine connection, a reminder that God's mercy always arrives from the east. But peace never lasted long in Jerusalem. In 586 BC, the Babylonians invaded. The first temple was reduced to ashes. The people were exiled, and the once golden city fell silent. Decades later, under Persian rule, the exiles returned. Nehemiah rebuilt Jerusalem's walls, including the eastern entrance, a simpler version of what would later become the Golden Gate. Hope was restored, worship returned, but empires never sleep. The Persians fell to the Greeks, and the Greeks to the Romans. And under Roman rule, history shifted once more. It was during Roman rule that a child was born in Bethlehem, Jesus of Nazareth. He walked these same streets. He prayed within the temple courts. And as the Gospels tell us, he entered Jerusalem riding a donkey through the Eastern Gate. That single act changed everything. For Christians, it fulfilled the prophecy of Zechariah. Behold, your king comes to you, humble, riding on a donkey. But for the religious elite of that time, it was blasphemy. And for the Romans, it was rebellion. Within days, he was arrested, crucified, and buried. Yet for his followers, death was not the end. it was the beginning of salvation. The city that witnessed his suffering became forever tied to his promised return. According to Christian belief, Jesus will one day return from the east, entering through this very gate. The Golden Gate, when the time of judgment draws near. For Jews, the same date holds equal power, for it is written that the Messiah, son of David, will enter Jerusalem through the eastern gate to bring peace to the world. And for Muslims, the city carries a sacred echo of its own. It was from here, from the blessed land of Al-Quds, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, ascended to the heavens during the Isra and Miraj. The Al-Aqsa Mosque and Dome of the Rock still stand as witnesses to that divine journey. So this one gate, this single silent structure, has become the spiritual meeting point of three great faiths. Each sees in it a doorway between earth and eternity. Centuries passed, empires rose and fell. Yet the Eastern Gate, now in its Byzantine form, remains standing, carrying the memories of a city that refused to die. In the 6th century, the Byzantines reconstructed it. Twin arches, massive limestone blocks, decorated with intricate carvings. It became both fortress and shrine. The version we still see today, beneath layers of restoration. Then came the year 637 CE. Muslim armies under Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab entered Jerusalem peacefully. No bloodshed, no destruction. The gate remained, and its sanctity was preserved. Under the Umayyads and Abbasids, Jerusalem prospered again. The Dome of the Rock was completed under Caliph Abd al-Malik, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque under his successors. The Golden Gate, or Bab al-Rahama, the Gate of Mercy, stayed open, guiding worshippers into the Haram al-Sharif, where the Al-Aqsa Mosque stood. Then came the Crusaders, waves of knights from Europe, driven by zeal and conquest. Jerusalem fell into chaos. The gates were damaged, the city desecrated. But even in ruin, the Eastern Gate stood like a wounded sentinel, battered, yet unbroken. When Salahuddin Ayyubi reclaimed Jerusalem in 1187, he rebuilt its walls with care. Under the Ayyubids, Mamluks, and later Ottomans, the city was reborn once again. Each empire repaired what the last had damaged, adding new stones, new symbols, new scars. Through war and peace, the Golden Gate watched, always watching. Then came the Ottomans, in the 16th century, under the reign of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent. Jerusalem entered a new era of renewal and restoration. Suleiman was not just a conqueror, he was a builder, a protector of the sacred. He ordered the reconstruction of Jerusalem's city walls, the same walls that still define the old city today. During this great restoration, the Eastern Gate, known as Bab al-Rahma, the Gate of Mercy, was sealed, likely as part of a defensive measure during the rebuilding of the city walls. To mark the holiness of the site, a Muslim cemetery already existed before the gate, later expanded under Ottoman care, not as an act of defiance, but of reverence, sanctifying the ground facing one of Islam's holiest precincts. From that day, the Golden Gate remained closed, not forgotten, not abandoned, but protected. Historians still debate the reason. Some records suggest it was part of fortifying the city's defenses. Others link it to the deep respect the Ottomans had for prophecy, preserving the gate in its sanctity, untouched until the time decreed by God. Yet not everyone saw it that way. To many among the Jewish people, the sealing of the Eastern Gate carried a different weight. Their prophecies spoke of a future Messiah, the son of David, who would one day enter Jerusalem through this very gate to restore peace and deliverance. So when Sultan Suleiman ordered it sealed, some believed it was more than stone and mortar. They saw it as an attempt to stop the prophecy itself. In their writings, the sentiment still echoes. The nations have sealed the gate, but heaven will open it once more. And among early Christian pilgrims, the sight of the closed Golden Gate stirred both awe and unease. For them, it fulfilled the vision of the prophet Ezekiel. The gate shall remain shut, for the Lord, the God of Israel, has entered by it. They believed the gate's silence was divine, waiting for the return of Christ, who would one day pass through it again. To believers, the sealed gate became a symbol of expectation, of destiny, of something greater still hidden beneath its stones. To skeptics, it was simply a wall, closed by rulers long gone. Yet across faiths, one truth remained. No one could look upon the Golden Gate without feeling the weight of prophecy. For Christians, this sealed gate became a promise that one day, when Jesus returns from the east, the stones will move on their own. For Jews, it became a sign that their long-awaited Messiah, descendant of David, will pass through it when the world is ready for redemption. For Muslims, it stands near the place where Isa, Jesus, will descend after defeating the false Messiah, the Dajjal, and lead believers in prayer in Jerusalem. One gate, three faiths, three stories converging on the same stone doorway. Centuries turned into decades, decades into years, and the Eastern Gate remained sealed. Through earthquakes, invasions, and endless prayers, it stood silent. But silence doesn't mean stillness. The ground beneath Jerusalem has always trembled with meaning. Every stone, every crack, every rumor becomes a sign. Centuries passed, and the world changed, yet the Golden Gate remained, sealed, silent, a witness to the passage of time. In 1948, Israel declared independence, and the modern conflict over the Holy Land began. Jerusalem, once united under faith, became divided by politics and blood. For the first time in centuries, Jews, Muslims, and Christians all looked upon the same walls and saw three different destinies. Then came 1967, the Six-Day War, 6 days that reshaped the Middle East forever. Israel captured East Jerusalem, including the Old City and the Temple Mount, the most contested piece of land on earth. And with that, the Golden Gate, Bab al-Rahma, came under Israeli control. Yet despite military power, Israel could not touch it freely. Since 1967, the Islamic Waqf, under Jordanian authority, has retained control of the Haram al-Sharif, where the Dome of the Rock, Al-Aqsa, and the Golden Gate stand. So now, this ancient gate sits in the middle of a modern power struggle. Technically, Muslim-controlled, spiritually sacred to all, yet surrounded by Israeli forces. It is more than just an entrance of stone. It is a doorway between faith and force. In 2019, the Golden Gate became the spark once again. The Islamic Waqf opened a small prayer hall inside the Golden Gate complex, an area closed for nearly 16 years. Israeli authorities quickly moved to seal it again, claiming it was unauthorized. Palestinians resisted. They prayed at its doors, chanting through tear gas and fear. Suddenly, this silent gate became alive. The gate of mercy turned into the gate of resistance. Since then, tensions have only grown. Each time Israeli forces move near the area, social media explodes with claims. Are they reopening the gate? Are they preparing for something prophetic? Is prophecy unfolding? And now, in 2024 and 2025, new videos surface. Shaky footage filmed from mobile phones, showing cracks forming across the sealed stone. People whisper, the stones are moving. The seal loosening, the gate opening. The images spread fast, millions of views, thousands of comments, believers and skeptics locked in debate. Some say the stones are loosening, the mortar crumbling, the seal breaking slowly, on its own. Others argue it's nothing more than time, erosion, or vibrations from nearby construction. Archaeologists point out that the walls surrounding the Golden Gate has been damaged and repaired countless times. Limestone naturally expands and fractures with heat, rain, and pressure. Over the centuries, rainwater and seismic activity have created tiny fractures in the limestone. A 2007 geological survey reported micro cracks throughout the eastern wall, likely due to natural erosion. To scientists, it's a predictable, explainable process. To believers, it's prophecy unfolding. Beneath the Golden Gate lies a labyrinth of stone, sealed passageways, forgotten tombs, and ancient tunnels dating back to the First and Second Temple periods. Archaeological digs, though rare due to religious and political sensitivities, have revealed fragments of Byzantine mosaics and Umayyad-era inscriptions. Israeli archaeologists believe that beneath the Golden Gate lies one of the original foundations of the Second Temple's eastern wall, the same line of stones that Nehemiah rebuilt centuries before Christ. In 1969, British archaeologist James Fleming fell through a weak spot in the ground while surveying near the Golden Gate. He landed inside a hidden chamber, surrounded by bones and stone arches long forgotten. When he returned later, the entrance was sealed again. He described it as a dark chamber beneath history itself. Since then, no full excavation has been allowed. Every stone under the Golden Gate remains untouched, as if history itself guards its secrets. In recent years, the world has seen rising tension again. Escalations in Gaza, protests at Al-Aqsa. Another kind of excavation continues. The digging of prophecy into politics. Israeli groups have pushed openly for the rebuilding of the Third Temple, believing that prophecy demands it. Some evangelical Christians openly support the rebuilding of the temple, believing it will hasten the second coming of Christ. Meanwhile, many Jews await the arrival of their Messiah, the Son of David, who will restore divine rule to Jerusalem. And Muslims remain vigilant, for the Al-Aqsa compound is one of Islam's holiest sites. To touch it lightly is to ignite fire across the region. They hold firmly that Isa, Jesus, will return to defeat the false Messiah, the Dajjal, and restore truth under the banner of one God. So when the rumors of the Golden Gate opening began, they struck a chord deep within every faith. For some, it is hope. For others, fear. And for many, a warning. So, is the Golden Gate truly opening? Engineers say no. Archaeologists say it's natural decay. But believers say otherwise. To them, this is not erosion, it is revelation. Not coincidence, but divine timing. In Christian texts, the prophet Ezekiel wrote, "I saw the glory of the Lord coming from the east, and the glory entered the temple through the gate facing east. Then he said, 'This gate shall remain shut, it shall not be opened, and no one shall enter by it. For the Lord himself has entered through it.'" To Christians, this prophecy is clear. The gate will remain sealed until the return of the Messiah. In Jewish tradition, the Messiah, a different one, descendant of King David, is said to enter Jerusalem through the Eastern Gate when redemption comes. That moment will mark the final restoration of Israel and peace upon the earth. In Islamic eschatology, it is said that near the end of times, Prophet Isa will descend from the heavens near Damascus, defeat the false Messiah, and travel to Jerusalem. There, near the Eastern Wall, he will pray alongside the believers and bring justice to the earth, uniting the people of the book. 3 faiths, 3 stories, but one gate connects them all. In recent years, tension around the Golden Gate has only intensified. The ancient stones, silent for centuries, now stand at the center of modern conflict. Escalations in Gaza, protests at Al-Aqsa, and the ever-watchful eyes of global media make this one gate more than history. It is a symbol, a battleground of faith, politics, and prophecy. 3 faiths, 3 prophecies, 1 gate. And now, with the world watching, the Golden Gate stands at the intersection of history, faith, and modern conflict. Every rumor, every video, every viral clip has one thing in common. It reminds humanity that this gate is more than stone. It is a symbol, a mirror reflecting hope, fear, belief, and the longing for divine intervention. So what is true? Are the stones really moving, opening by themselves? Or is it time, weather, and human imagination playing with centuries of myth and history? Perhaps the real question is not the gate itself, but what it awakens in those who watch, pray, and hope. The Eastern Gate, the Golden Gate, Bab al-Rahmah, has stood for millennia. Through Babylonian conquest, Roman rule, Crusader wars, Ottoman sealing, and modern conflict. And yet now, in the 21st century, it captures attention like never before. The direction of the gate, facing east, is no coincidence. For many ancient traditions, light, rebirth, and renewal are said to come from the east. Sunrise, hope, revelation, all rise with the morning light. So maybe the question isn't whether the gate is opening physically, but spiritually. Perhaps it's not the stone that moves, but humanity itself. Hearts long closed, now beginning to open again, yearning for something beyond war, politics, and division. Look at the timeline, from David to Solomon, from Jesus to Muhammad, from Crusaders to Suleiman, from wars to rumors. Every era touched this gate. Every generation watched, waiting for a sign. And now, the world watches again. From YouTube clips to TikTok reels, millions ask the same question. Is prophecy unfolding? Is the Golden Gate really opening? Perhaps that is the true mystery. Not whether the stones will move, but why this gate touches the human heart so deeply. Within every faith, there is longing for return, for peace, for justice, for the divine among us again. The Golden Gate stands at that threshold. Between seen and unseen, past and promise. Maybe it's not just a gate in Jerusalem. Maybe it's a mirror reflecting what humanity truly seeks. So tell me, if one morning you heard the Golden Gate had finally opened, the stones broken, the seal lifted, would you believe it's just time and weather? Or would you believe prophecy had come alive? If this video made you think, share your thoughts below. We read every comment, and your perspective might uncover the next mystery we explore. So stay with us, subscribe, and together we'll keep searching for the truth written between prophecy and science. Because the gate is silent, but history never is.